Alright, so we hit it pretty good with the piece of drywall for the ceiling. Holes came out in pretty good spot. I got a little bit big on that. I'll have to do a little filling in around there. Pretty tight fit. Ended up, I had to cut that out a little bit there to get it up. Yeah, it kind of collapsed a couple of the corners, but that'll all fill in. Alright, well, I started putting the mud up, taped all the corners, and then I just started applying the compound around here. Trim piece up in here are going to be access panels, and here's some of the taping. I'm using the, I don't know, whatever that's, nylon or whatever. This is some kind of a mesh tape on that bead. And in the other room, let's go see what happened over there today. I've got this all taped here. You can see that. Over here, I kind of crushed the drywall I was trying to put up. Forgot about the door frame, the window frame. So as I'm trying to slide it up there, it was hanging up and it kind of mashed the edge of that drywall, but that'll be okay. So I throw some compound up in there. Same thing over here on the other edge. The access panel is a little bit loose on my measurement there, and so I'm just bringing some tape in, and I'll compound around there to bring that in a little tighter. And I left this out a 1/2 inch so I can put the corner on there. And then the let's see, I cut in the toilet paper dispenser thing. I'll be bringing this shelf around here. And this will be set back in a little bit, and then there's going to be shelves up through here. I'm proceeding here in the den, small bedroom, whatever we're going to call it. Took off all the floor moldings. Did a little more work around the corners here. It's coming along pretty good. I've decided to go ahead and tape this seam up here. I couldn't decide between either a piece of trim or to tape it. Now I've decided to go ahead and tape it. I'm on about my second or third coat up here on the ceiling to try and get that level. The transition from the old ceiling to the new ceiling was about a 1/4 inch drop for some reason or other. Over in this corner, I had to remove the door in order to get to the corner with the corner trowel. And that came out pretty good for the first coat. And up here by the outlet, or the junction box for the wiring for the fan, I got that hole a little bit big, and built that up with a little tape and just flaring that out from the box. Taking a little break from the drywalling for a minute, and decided since I had my plumbing stuff, I'd hook in, put a couple of quick shut-off valves right here, and teeing it off there. Of course, the only thing this other one's running to is my laundry room sink. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I got a little hole poked through over here in the corner. You can see that. Just bringing through the cold water now. Got the hot water all sided up there, and outer room come through the wall here, and I'll just put a partition over the top of that. Yeah, I got it hot water soldered up to that point here. Just getting ready to cut this other piece off, and it'll come around, go through the stud, and then up here to the shower. Okay, I'm doing the sanding of the drywall using an orbital sander. Let's go take a look. This is one nasty job. You can see by the floor, this is coated. So am I. But what I'm doing is I'm just about done here. This is the bedroom. Over here in the bath. Just finishing up. It's coming out really nice. Just got to finish up this ceiling section here. I added a piece underneath the window. Brought the trim up a little, or the drywall up a little higher under the trim there. I'm using the old shop vac. Yeah, it goes up next to the orbital sander. It collects a large portion of it, but obviously you can't get everything. And it's just making a mess. So it'll probably be a whole day of just cleaning after I get this sanding done. That's why I wanted to finish it all today. Well, it's going pretty good. I'm using these, this is a hook and loop type sandpaper. These are Diablo, is the brand name. Yeah, a few more holes in it than what I use. I think this orbital sander is a Chicago. I probably got it at Harbor Freight. Works really nice. It's let's see here. It gets whirling. You really want to make sure you have that on the wall before you fire it up. Then you're going to have a few skid marks in your drywall. Unfortunately, the closet here, the corners haven't dried yet, so it'll be a separate project, which is something I didn't want to do. Most of the drywalling is completed, and I've started with the priming of the walls, and it's going pretty well. I'm using Kills 2 primer. You see that? It's always been reliable. It's gotten kind of expensive now, but I wet sanded this morning. You know, I did the orbital sander the other day, made a huge mess, and I got the area cleaned up good. But the wet sanding does smooth some of those edges that you can't seem to get with the sander without wrecking a wall. I've already put a couple of coats of primer on the black paint that was around these windows and this shelf area. So I'm going to take these out, use the orbital sander, and take them down a little bit so they don't stick like they used to. And I've got a second coat of primer up here on the ceiling. I've now installed these access panels. Yeah, the screws show a little bit of a gap. I don't care about that. That's not a big deal. I've got this closet prep now for painting. The bathroom, I had to do some touching up here. I forgot to take down the towel bracket, and there were a couple of big holes here, so I had to coat that a couple times and sand her down. All around where the sink was, that was a little rough, so I sanded that and put a coating on there and sanded it because the new sink basin will be a little narrow. Just about ready to start doing demolition here probably this week. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken all the door and floor moldings and took them outside and hit them with the orbital sander, took off all the old carpet and skid marks and throwing some primer on them. A little easier to prime them here than when they're up. I'll probably even give them the first coat of color off the wall. And the windows got all sanded and primed. One coat so far. I don't know, maybe I'll do a second coat on those. These are shelves that belong up over here. I put some backstop up the top and bottom over here, and that's where my trim panel is going to go. I spotted a piece of wainscoting type paneling, 32 by 48. It'll be perfect for that space. What I've done now in the last day or so, completed the ceiling paint, got the first coat of paint on the walls. Of course, obviously I didn't do this window yet. I thought I was going to get away with one coat, but when you get close, there's some spots that I missed. So I was going to have to go 2 coats. And I was using the, what is this stuff here? This is Home Depot's Behr Premium. I I don't know, 30 bucks a gallon or some ridiculous thing. Put everything back together and the bedroom will be pretty much done. Well, of course, except for the floor. You know, I'm not decided on when I'm doing that. Just pulling the toilet out, and got to scrape up the last of that tile around there, clean up the toilet, and find a place to park that.
If you've never used one of these little deals, this is sweet.
A little edging tool. Anyway, it is placed up against the ceiling there on the tip, which you don't ever want to get paint on that. Just drag it along, and boy, it does a nice job.
I'm just gonna start rolling on the rest, and this is the second coat.
And this morning I cut the panel that goes over that plumbing over there along the wall. That came out pretty good.